two ways.
Yeah.
I was prepared for either, and he just was a treat.
He was.
He really is.
Yeah.
We spent 4 days together.
In 2014, Sons of Anarchy aired its last episode. For some cast members, it was just the beginning of an incredible journey. Others faced personal demons and devastating setbacks. From becoming a champion ballroom dancer to controversial OnlyFans career, here's how life changed for the actors who made SOA legendary. Charlie Hunnam. Charlie Hunnam, who played Jax Teller, found himself in a tough spot after the show ended. He said he woke up some nights in a panic, reaching for his biker kuta or missing the feeling of Jax's rings on his fingers. It wasn't just acting, it had become a part of him. Instead of jumping straight into another big TV role, Charlie chose to try something new. His first major project was Crimson Peak in 2015, directed by Guillermo del Toro. It was a gothic romance, very different from the rough world of bikers. The movie didn't make a lot of money, but it showed he could do more than just play tough guys. Then Charlie made a surprising decision. He walked away from playing Christian Grey in 50 Shades of Grey, even though it was one of the biggest roles in Hollywood at the time. He gave up a lot of money and faced backlash for dropping out so close to filming. Later, he called it the worst experience of his career, but said it was the right choice for him. After that, Charlie focused on projects that challenged him. In 2016, he starred in The Lost City of Z, a story about a real-life explorer. To prepare, he lost 35 pounds and spent months in the jungle, fully committing to the role. He even stopped talking to his girlfriend for 5 months to stay in character. Critics praised his dedication and performance. In 2017, Charlie took it even further with Papillon, a movie about a man surviving a brutal prison. He lost another 35 pounds by running up to 20 miles a day and eating almost nothing. The intense preparation made him sick for months after filming, but Charlie said it was worth it to bring the story to life. Fans of Sons of Anarchy were thrilled when Charlie made a surprise return in 2019. He appeared as Jax Teller's ghost in Mayan's MC, a spin-off of the original show. It was a short moment, but it brought back memories of his iconic role and got people wondering if he might return to the SOA world someday. That same year, Charlie starred in The Gentleman, a crime film by Guy Ritchie. This time, he played a polished and clever character, showing a totally new side of himself. The movie was a hit, and his performance stood out. It was so popular that Netflix announced a spin-off series, with Charlie set to star and produce. But behind the scenes, Charlie was fighting a tough battle. In 2023, he revealed he'd been living with a rare autoimmune disorder since 2020. The illness forced him to step away from big projects, including a role in Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon. Instead of giving up, Charlie started a foundation to raise money and awareness for autoimmune diseases, turning his struggle into something positive. In 2024, Charlie announced he was directing a movie for the first time. He's adapting As I Lay Dying, a classic novel, into a film. He's been working on the project for years and has big stars like Timothée Chalamet and Florence Pugh lined up. Filming is set to start in 2025. Drea de Matteo. Drea de Matteo's story is one of ups and downs, but she's always found a way to keep going. In 2008, she joined Sons of Anarchy as Wendy Case, the troubled ex-wife of Jax Teller. At first, her character was supposed to die in the first episode, but the show's creator, Kurt Sutter, changed his mind after seeing how good she was. Wendy's story became one of the most interesting parts of the show. She started as a drug addict, but over time she worked hard to turn her life around. Fans loved seeing her grow into a strong and stable person. Even though her role on Sons of Anarchy was important, Drea didn't always feel like part of the group. Unlike her time on The Sopranos, where she was deeply involved, her appearances on Sons of Anarchy were more on and off. She had other projects to focus on, so she often felt like an outsider. Still, her raw and honest performance made Wendy a fan favorite. Drea even said she drew inspiration from friends who had been through recovery, which made Wendy's journey feel real. Years after leaving Sons of Anarchy, Drea surprised everyone by returning as Wendy in a 2024 episode of Mayan's MC. Fans were thrilled to see her back after so long, proving just how much they loved her character. But Drea's life hasn't been easy. In 2015, a gas explosion destroyed her home in Manhattan, where she had lived for 22 years. She lost everything: her home, her belongings, and her memories. This forced her to rethink her life and career. In 2023, she joined OnlyFans, a subscription platform to make money. She explained that she was struggling financially because she refused to get the COVID-19 vaccine, which had affected her ability to get work in Hollywood. This decision sparked a lot of debate. Some people supported her, while others criticized her. The controversy didn't stop there. In 2024, she revealed that her 13-year-old son helped edit some of her OnlyFans content. This shocked a lot of people and started a big discussion about parenting and boundaries. Even with all the criticism, Drea stood by her choices, saying she was doing what she needed to for her family. Despite these challenges, Drea hasn't given up. In 2022, she started her own clothing brand, Ultra Free. She said it's about more than just clothes. It reflects her values and the things she cares about. This was her way of exploring new opportunities and staying creative outside of acting. Maggie CF. Maggie CF, who played Dr. Tara Knowles on Sons of Anarchy, surprised everyone in 2019 by making a big career change. At the time, she was at the top of her acting career after playing Wendy Rhodes on Billions. But on March 15, 2019, she announced that she was stepping away from acting for 2 years to study psychology at Columbia University. Fans and people in the industry couldn't believe it. But Maggie explained that her decision came from her time playing Tara. On the show, she had explored how living in a violent world affects people's minds, and it made her want to learn more about trauma and how people deal with it. While studying, Maggie focused on how working on violent TV shows affects actors and crew members. She interviewed over 100 people in the industry and found out something shocking. Most of them showed signs of stress. Many had trouble sleeping, felt anxious, or struggled with their emotions. In 2021, Maggie shared her findings at a big psychology conference, which got a lot of attention. Her research didn't just stay on paper. She worked with SAG-AFTRA to create a program called Mind Behind the Scene. It provides free counseling and mental health help to people working on tough shows and movies. By 2024, the program had helped thousands of people and was being used on dozens of sets. When Maggie returned to acting in 2021, she didn't stop helping people. Inspired by her Sons of Anarchy character, she started the Tara Knowles Foundation in 2022. This group helps women and children who escape domestic violence. In just 1 year, the foundation raised millions of dollars and opened safe houses in 3 big cities to give families a fresh start. Maggie also started a program called Second Act to help survivors rebuild their lives by offering scholarships and job training. By the end of 2024, hundreds of people had gone through the program, and most of them found jobs. Maggie didn't stop there. She even spoke to the U.S. Senate in 2023, asking lawmakers to support a law that helps protect survivors of violence. Her speech, where she compared her character's struggles to real-life stories, helped the bill pass with support from both parties. To raise even more money for her foundation, she teamed up with her Sons of Anarchy co-star, Charlie Hunnam. Together, they designed motorcycle jackets inspired by the show, and in just a few months, they raised over $1 million. Then, in 2024, Maggie did something no one saw coming. She returned to the Sons of Anarchy universe in Mayans MC. Even though Tara died in the original series, Maggie appeared as a ghost, guiding her son Abel during an important moment in his life. The episode shocked fans and became the most watched in the show's history. The internet went wild, with hashtag #TaraLives trending for days. After this, FX announced a new show, Sam Crow, Beyond the Reaper, where Maggie would return alongside other characters from the original series. This new story will explore life after death and the consequences of past choices. Katie Sagel. Katie Sagel became famous for playing Peg Bundy, the funny and loud housewife in Married with Children. But while that role made her a star, it also created a problem. People in Hollywood only saw her as Peg. For over a decade, she kept getting the same kind of offers, silly comedy roles that didn't let her show what she could really do. This frustrated her because she wanted to prove she was more than just a sitcom character. Everything changed in 2008. Her husband, Kurt Sutter, created the TV show Sons of Anarchy and gave her a completely different role. He cast her as Gemma Teller, the tough, manipulative mother of a motorcycle gang. Gemma was nothing like Peg Bundy. She was fierce, dangerous, and willing to do anything to protect her family and the club. Katie brought so much emotion and intensity to the role that audiences couldn't look away. Gemma did terrible things, like killing people and attacking others, but Katie made the character feel real. Even when Gemma was scary, you could still understand her love for her family. This role changed Katie's career. In 2011, she won a Golden Globe for playing Gemma. It was a huge moment for her because it proved she was more than just a comedy actress. After Sons of Anarchy ended in 2014, Katie kept surprising people by taking on very different roles. She played serious characters in shows like Rebel and The Bastard Executioner, but she also showed her funny side in The Connors and Dead to Me. These roles proved she could do anything, whether it was drama or comedy. But acting isn't the only thing Katie is great at. Long before she was famous, she was a singer. In the 1970s, she sang backup for big names like Bob Dylan and worked with Bette Midler's group, the Harlettes. Singing for Bette wasn't easy. She had to do complicated dance routines in wild costumes, like wearing a mermaid fin and high heels at the same time. It was tough, but it taught her how to handle challenges, something she carried into her acting career. Katie also uses her voice to help others. In 2016, she appeared in a video tribute to the victims of the Pulse nightclub shooting, showing her support for the LGBTQ+ community. She also brought attention to the hidden struggles of women in motorcycle club culture through her role as Gemma. These clubs are often dominated by men, but Katie's performance showed how women like Gemma can have power behind the scenes. Ron Perlman. Ron Perlman's life after Sons of Anarchy took an exciting turn. In 2013, he said goodbye to his role as Clay Morrow, but his career didn't slow down. Instead, he took on nearly 50 film and TV roles in the years that followed, proving his talent and hard work. One of his biggest roles came in 2019 when he joined The Capture, a British thriller. He played Frank Napier, a secretive CIA agent, showing he could jump from being a biker boss to handling the intense world of spies. In 2021, Perlman took on another bold role in Don't Look Up. He played Colonel Benedict Drask, a war hero sent on a risky mission to save the world. Sharing the screen with stars like Leonardo DiCaprio and Meryl Streep, he held his own and got plenty of praise. This role reminded everyone that Perlman could shine even among Hollywood's biggest names. But acting wasn't all he focused on. In 2022, Perlman directed his first movie, The Burying Party. It was a personal project about World War II veterans, and he worked on it for more than 10 years. The movie premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival and received great reviews. Critics said Perlman's storytelling and direction showed his passion and skill in a whole new way. Fans of video games were thrilled in 2024 when Perlman returned to voice acting. He played Victor Lazarus in the game Starfield, bringing his famous deep voice back to the gaming world. Gamers loved his performance, and it earned him a nomination at the Game Awards, proving his voice is as legendary as his on-screen roles. In his personal life, there were big changes too. In 2019, Perlman ended his 38-year marriage to Opal Stone. Just a year later, he married his startup co-star, Alison Dunbar, in Italy. The quick remarriage got a lot of attention, but Perlman later said it brought him happiness he hadn't expected. Perlman also became known for speaking out on important issues. In 2016, he made headlines by saying he might run for president, though that never happened. Over time, he became a strong critic of Donald Trump, sharing his opinions online and getting into heated debates. By 2023, Perlman was standing up for Hollywood actors and writers during the SAG-AFTRA and WGA strikes. At a rally in Los Angeles, he gave a passionate speech about fairness in the industry, inspiring many of his peers. Even with everything going on, Perlman didn't forget his Sons of Anarchy roots. In 2023, he made a surprise return as Clay Morrow in the finale of Mayans MC. It was a short but emotional scene that thrilled fans and reminded everyone why his character was so unforgettable. Kim Coates. Kim Coates, who many know as Tig Traeger from Sons of Anarchy, has had an exciting and unexpected career since the show ended in 2014. While fans loved him as the wild biker, his life after the series has been full of surprising and amazing changes. He's shown the world that he can do so much more than just play a tough guy. In 2019, Coates returned to the stage for the first time in almost 30 years. He starred in a play called Jerusalem on Broadway. In the play, he played Johnny Rooster Byron, a loud, troubled man who had nothing in common with Tig. People were amazed by how different Coates looked and acted in this role. His performance was so good that he was nominated for a Tony Award. It was a big moment that reminded everyone just how talented he is. Then, Coates took on another surprising role. He was cast as Brigham Young, a controversial Mormon leader, in the Netflix series American Primeval, which comes out in January 2025. For this role, Coates had to completely change his appearance. He gained 30 pounds, grew a beard, and even spent months learning to speak like someone from the 1800s. To make his performance as real as possible, he also lived in Utah for a while to learn about the culture and history of the time. But Coates didn't stop there. In 2022, he decided to try something totally new: voice acting. He started with small roles in animated shows like Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure and Corner Gas Animated. Soon after, Pixar offered him a big role in their upcoming movie, Elemental 2: The Lost Spark, which will be released in 2025. He voices Blaze, a fire elemental trying to find his place in the world. It's a fun and emotional role, and it's nothing like the tough characters he's played before. While his career was taking exciting turns, Coates' personal life changed too. In 2023, he and his wife, Diana Chappelle, decided to adopt 2 Syrian refugee children, ages 7 and 9. They had been volunteering at refugee camps in Greece and felt moved to help. Becoming a dad again in his 60s wasn't easy, but Coates says it's been one of the most rewarding experiences of his life. He now speaks out for refugee rights and uses his fame to bring attention to their struggles. And just when you thought Coates couldn't surprise anyone anymore, he revealed in 2024 that he'd secretly been training as a ballroom dancer. For 3 years, he practiced in private, and it all paid off when he and his dance partner won a championship in the over 60 category at the World Latin Dance Cup in Miami. It's hard to believe, but the actor best known for playing a biker can also wow people on the dance floor. Theo Rossi. Theo Rossi became famous as Juice in Sons of Anarchy. But his life after the show ended in 2014 has been even more exciting. He didn't stick to just being the biker guy from TV. Instead, he tried new roles that showed how talented and versatile he really is. After leaving Sons of Anarchy, Theo wanted to prove he could play more than just one type of character. In 2016, he joined Marvel's Luke Cage as Hernan Shades Alvarez. This role was nothing like Juice. Shades was a smart, confident villain, and Theo's performance impressed everyone. Critics loved how he made the character so captivating, and it showed Hollywood that he could handle complex roles. This success opened up big opportunities for him in both TV and movies. In 2017, Theo starred in a movie called Low Riders. The film told a touching story about Chicano culture in East Los Angeles, and Theo brought something special to his role. It connected with his own heritage, making the character feel real. People loved his performance, and it even earned him an award nomination. This movie showed he could handle meaningful stories that dive deep into cultural themes. Then, in 2021, Theo surprised everyone by joining Zack Snyder's big Netflix movie, Army of the Dead. This was a huge zombie action film, and Theo played Burt Cummings, a security guard with questionable morals. It was a completely new type of role for him, and he nailed it. The movie was a hit, and his character became part of its expanded universe with spin-offs and even an animated series. It proved Theo could shine in blockbuster films, not just smaller dramas. The next year, in 2022, Theo took a different path again with Emily the Criminal. This indie thriller premiered at Sundance, and Theo played Youssef, a charming but troubled credit card scammer. Critics loved how real and emotional his performance felt, and it earned him a nomination for a major indie film award. It was a big moment for Theo because it showed he could carry serious, gritty stories and not just action-packed roles. But Theo didn't stop with acting. In 2023, he wrote, directed, and produced a short film called Mabel. It was inspired by his own life growing up in Staten Island and focused on the struggles of working-class families. The film was heartfelt and raw, and it premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival, where people praised its honesty. It showed a new side of Theo, proving he wasn't just an actor. He could tell meaningful stories behind the camera, too. In 2024, Theo entered the DC universe with HBO Max's The Penguin. He played Dr. Julian Rush, a brilliant but shady scientist working for the Penguin. Once again, Theo brought depth and complexity to the role, impressing both fans and critics. This was his first role in the superhero world, and he proved he could handle it with ease. Tommy Flanigan. After Sons of Anarchy ended in 2014, Tommy Flanigan didn't slow down. In 2015, he acted in a small indie film called Winter. This was a very different role for him, where he worked alongside Tom Paine. It gave him a chance to show he could handle deep, emotional characters, not just the tough biker image people knew him for. In 2016, Flanigan surprised everyone by appearing in a Korn music video for their song Rotting in Vain. It was unexpected, but showed that Flanigan was willing to try new things and reach different audiences. His performance in the music video stood out and proved he could bring intensity to any project. By 2017, Flanigan was taking on bigger roles. He joined the Marvel movie Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 as a character named Tulk. This was a huge moment for him, being part of such a famous franchise. Around the same time, he also reunited with Charlie Hunnam, his old Sons of Anarchy co-star, in the movie Papillon. Working together again was a reminder of the bond they built during their years on Sons. In 2019, fans were excited when Flanigan returned as Chibs in the Sons of Anarchy spin-off, Mayan's MC. It was a special moment for fans of the series who had missed him. This gave Flanigan a chance to dive back into a role that meant so much to his career, while also adding new layers to the character. That same year, he tried something new with Netflix's Wu Assassins, playing a character called Alec McCullough. This role was very different from his biker days and showed how flexible he could be as an actor. Even though the show didn't last long, Flanigan's performance stood out and proved he could shine in any genre. In 2020, Flanigan kept pushing himself. He joined the cast of HBO's Westworld, a very popular science fiction series. He played Martin Connells and acted alongside big stars like Evan Rachel Wood and Vincent Cassel. Being part of such a complicated and high-profile show proved how much he had grown as an actor. In 2022, Flanigan joined another hit show, Power Book 4, Force. He played Walter Flynn, a character tied to the world of organized crime. This role felt familiar because of his past roles, but Flanigan gave it his own twist, making it fresh and exciting. Fans loved his performance, and since the show got a second season, they'll get to see even more of him. Dayton Callie. Dayton Callie's journey to playing Wayne Unser in Sons of Anarchy was long and full of challenges. For over 20 years, he acted in small roles on TV and in movies, usually playing tough or rough-around-the-edges characters. His big moment came in 2004, when he played Charlie Utter in the HBO series Deadwood. That role showed everyone how talented he was and even caught the eye of Kurt Sutter, who would later create Sons of Anarchy. When Callie auditioned for Sons of Anarchy, he didn't try out for Wayne Unser. He actually wanted the role of Clay Morrow, which eventually went to Ron Perlman. But Kurt Sutter was so impressed with Callie's audition that he created the character of Unser just for him. It turned out to be a perfect match, helping Callie shine and adding depth to the show's story. While playing Unser, Callie was dealing with his own personal struggles. In 2010, during the middle of the show's run, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer. He kept it mostly to himself, not even telling many of his co-stars. Instead of letting it slow him down, he used his real-life experience to make his character more believable, especially in scenes where Unser talked about his own illness. This gave his performance a raw and emotional edge that fans loved. After Sons of Anarchy ended in 2014, Callie took on new challenges. In 2016, he joined Fear the Walking Dead as Jeremiah Otto, showing how versatile he could be as an actor. But taking the role wasn't easy. Callie had developed a fear of flying after a scary incident on a flight in 1998. Overcoming this fear took therapy and medication, but he pushed through because he wanted to keep growing in his career. In 2018, Callie surprised fans by trying something completely different. He performed a one-man show called Unser, unscripted at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. It was a mix of comedy and drama, and it let him share personal stories, including funny and shocking moments from his time on Sons of Anarchy. One of the most talked about stories was how he accidentally knocked out Charlie Hunnam during a fight scene, sending him to the hospital. The show was a hit, and proved Callie could entertain in any setting. Callie also explored voice acting. In 2019, he voiced a character named Whitaker in the video game Left 4 Dead 2. This was a big change for Callie, who had never even played a video game before. He worked hard to understand how it all worked and managed to bring his unique voice to a whole new audience. In 2020, fans got excited when Callie revealed he had been asked to return as Wayne Unser for a possible Sons of Anarchy spin-off. Sadly, the project didn't move forward because of creative disagreements. Fans were disappointed, but Callie didn't let that stop him from taking on new opportunities. Most recently, in 2022, Callie directed and starred in his first film, The Last Ride of Wayne Unser. The movie tells the story of a retired police chief dealing with his past. Callie believed in the project so much that he used his own money to make it happen. The film was praised for its emotional storytelling and Callie's powerful performance, showing once again how dedicated he is to his craft.